everyone, my name is Schwartz. This is my first ever YouTube video. I will be doing a comprehensive guide on the character Magik from Marvel Rivals. I will try my best to explain in depth of every single ability combo. I will explain playstyle and give tips the throughout the video. I won't have a specific tips at the very end if that's what you're looking for. I will try my best to put timestamps for each ability, but let's get into this. So starting off, we're going to start at the very basics. Her very first attack, her basic attack, which is what I'll refer it to in this video. I won't say soul sword every time I want to say basic attack. Basic attack is her swinging her soul sword. If you didn't know, her hitbox is actually a lot longer than you may think. It's not just the actual sword. That white slash animation that you see is her final hitbox, and one thing that not many people know about for maximizing damage, or if you're thinking why'd that character not die, her sword actually has damage fall off. Max range is 6.5 meters. So 6.5 meters is about, I don't know, right around here, I think. Yeah, there we go. See how little damage that did? That did 1.5 ticks of damage. Damage fall off starts at 4.5 meters. So if I'm up a lot closer and you see, look at that, now I did 3. So I did nearly double the increase of damage. That's just from her basic attack. Her next ability I'll be going over is Stepping Disc. Stepping Disc is this, where you go into one of her Limbo Step Discs, of course, and that gives you the opportunity of 2 abilities. Let me just turn on no ability cooldown so I can explain it better. So when you're in here, you have 3 seconds to do Eldritch Whirl or Demonic Rage. Okay, so her next ability to cover will be her Umbral Incursion, which is just a straightforward dash, and it launches up the enemies, sending them airborne, and you kind of go with it, so you're able to create different combinations with it. Very simple ability, dash forward, launch up. It does 85 damage, cooldowns 8 seconds. Max distance is 16 meters, roughly, for it to actually connect for it, so like that was, I think, 15 meters or 60 meters. If I go further, yeah, I'm gonna be a bit short. But one of her most important abilities for her entire kit, it opens up for a lot of combo opportunities. Eldritch Whirl is pretty self-explanatory. You do a swing in an AoE. The range of it is a range of 6 meters. Sorry, a radius, actually. It's a radius of 6 meters, so you're technically hitting 12 meters diameter if you're thinking just straight across from each other. And it actually has a higher hitbox than most people would think. It has a hitbox height of 5 meters, so you can actually hit above you as well. With her passive, which is one thing that I forgot to mention, each attack gives you, if I remember, it's 30%. Let me look. Yeah, conversion rate is 30% of your damage. That is talking about every source of damage. So, for example, if I'm using Demonic Rage and I'm hitting someone, those are an increase. It's going to add both of them together. You have your Eldritch Whirl. Like, if I hit this one person, I have 266 health now because the extra healing. If I let that reset, and I hit both, I have 282 now. So it's going to scale off based off the damage you do on the people, but also how many you hit. So when I talk about her Darkchild ultimate, I'll explain some more stuff because range and damage increase changes. Her next ability is Demonic Rage. This little guy. One thing that not too many people realize is that Demonic Rage actually has a hitbox. So if you're getting chased by someone or they are a range, like for example, the annoying ass person we all love to hate and love to play, Hawkeye, we're running from him. we can place this, and this will actually act as a hitbox. So if I go over here, for example, I use stepping disc, it'll actually absorb damage. It actually does have a health bar, which is 100 damage. It's not a lot, but just think about it. Hawkeye can one-shot you. It'll be able to absorb his one-shot from his passive. It has a attack speed of 0.25 per hit, and it's 20 damage per hit. So if you do the math, it is, if I remember correctly, 320 damage total. So if you actually somehow manage to find a bot who absorbs the whole thing, you'll pretty much kill the majority of characters in the game, besides the Vanguard, of course. One mistake that I see a lot of people doing, I see it a lot more frequently on PC, because they have more movement control, because they play on mouse and keyboard, of course. Yeah, of course, if you play on higher sensitivity on controller, it can also happen. But when I watch a lot of videos of better players than me, when they back off like this, they send their demon rage here to absorb damage, which is the right thing to do. But where's he attacking? He's attacking like 1 meter in front of you. So if you have like an Iron Fist chasing you down, you have the issue of you're not dealing damage, you're just running away, and he's able to catch up to you. So placing it forward where you're actually getting its max range, which is 6.5 meters, you have more defensive capability than it just absorbing damage. Another thing that not a lot of people know, it is common sense, but some people may not notice if they're in a fight. Demonic Rage actually has angles you can place it on. So depending on whichever way your crosshair is going, you're able to actually angle the attack of it. So like, for example, if you have like an Iron Man that you're facing, you can place it up top, and he'll most likely walk into it if you're trying to pincer move him. Speaking of pincer move, for example, if you're facing somebody with a physical shield like Doctor Strange, Magneto, Iron Man, or not Iron Man, Captain America, sorry. If you're hitting in front of them, they're going to be putting up their shield. So, for example, you could put your demonic right behind them, and then you're attacking in front of them, kind of creating a pincer movement, because you're only able to actually do, he's only able to block from one direction. Like, he can't block both sides unless he's some wizard with max sensitivity or something. Her next ability is the Magik Slash. So it does one thing on their website. They have full description and overview of each of their abilities. I will post them up throughout these videos, throughout this video. Her Eldritch Slash, the Magik Slash. Words are hard when they're weird words. Her Magik Slash charges from 45 to 90 damage total. The one thing that doesn't make any sense is, for example, characters with 250 health, like these have 250 health. Luna Snow over there, that bot has 250 health. I did the calculations of some of the attacks, and like, for most basic one-shot combo, if you actually do the math of all the damage, it adds up to 240 damage. But it's still one-shots, so I'm not sure what part is changing the damage in it, but pretty much instant cast of this is supposedly 45 damage, and then a full charge is 90 damage. With a lot of her combos, you don't actually have to fully charge it. You can use this as a poking method if you're, if like your tank isn't actually frontlining, if they're playing more scared, and you have like a lot of flyers, like if the enemy team has like an Iron Man, a Storm, who else? If they have Scarlet Witch, like if they have any character that you don't really want to, or not don't want to, if you can't get close enough to them fast enough, you can use it as a method of poking. If you're just poking, you want to charge it up fully, because then you're maximizing the damage. Yeah, it'll get healed, quite quickly, but doing more damage is always better than doing less damage. What's next? We have her Limbo Might, which is her passive, which I already went over. Pretty self-explanatory. It's her passive. It's always up. She gets a max cap of 150 bonus health. A lot of people in this game think that the blue is shield. It's not shield, because if it was shield, it would count as damage reduction. In this game, blue is bonus health, so it's just an increase of health. You're not getting any reduced damage when you have more HP. Like I said, it goes up to 150. The cap is going to be, if I'm correct, it's going to be 400 total. I can show you right now. Yeah, so it's going to be 400. If I'm hitting after this, it's still going to be 400 no matter what. When you're in Dark Child Ultimate, I can show you briefly. It's still going to be 400 no matter what. Dark Child doesn't give you an increase in shield, which I would like it to, but again, Magik's already a strong enough character. I think that would make her too strong, but I do think that with the description of it says Dark Child gains enhanced to all of her abilities. A passive is an ability, but her passive stays the exact same. If they do something with it, that would be very cool. Next up on the list would be combos. So for basic one-shot combo, or I wouldn't say basic because a lot of different things come into factor with their HP and how you do things. In a lot of her combos, you're going to see me do a stepping disc into Eldritch Whirl into a dash. One thing that you have to know is that if you dash Eldritch Whirl, it'll cancel your dash entirely, and you're going to waste a very viable ability. So if you dash Eldritch Whirl, see how I only go a couple meters, but if I actually dash after I cast it, I'll go the distance. One thing that I want to go over for tips is, as we know from all the videos that we've seen, like, oh, Hawkeye's so broken, blah, 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 you don't even have to aim. All abilities of all characters across the board, if you aim more to the right, are going to land even though it looks like it shouldn't. If I aim here with my dash, I'm going to miss entirely. And I do it so much because it's human error. Everything that I'm telling you here is combos, abilities, everything. I know a lot about the character. Can I implement it all? No, because that's just human nature. I'm going to get greedy for kills. I'm going to mess up an attack because, again, I'm hitting moving targets, which is a lot more difficult than a standard bot. But if I aim to the right here, I still land it, even though it doesn't even look like I'm looking at it. That's with every single ability she has. The only one that I'd say technically would be this one, just because it has its own hitbox. It'll be more to the right than to the left. But that being said, her first combo, I will put the actual combo string above when I do it. So it's going to be stepping disc, whirl dash. That's, of course, low health. Let me get a full health bot. So it's going to be stepping disc, whirl dash, basic melee. A lot of her stuff is able to cancel out with melee attacks. So if I do this, like if I just attack melee, it's just going to put the melee because you're canceling the auto attack fully. When you actually see her properly swing her sword, you're able to land it. Like, for example, that last one, I meleeed too soon, so it canceled it. So a lot of stuff will have animation cancels in it. Her ultimate has a lot of animation canceling in it, which I'm still not very good at because it doesn't feel right. It feels very odd, but when you get used to it, you're gonna maximize your damage a lot more. So like I said, her basic combo is whirl dash, uppercut, melee. Her another variation of that would be if you hit them with a slash, you whirl dash, melee, now you don't need to do...
That's why they call me
Sorry,
Magik.
basic, you don't need to do the melee at the very end of it because you had initial damage from your slash. Like that. Another one, for example, is if you've... Like, I can show you. If you fully charge your slash, you dash basic, that'll kill. If you do not full charge, dash, uppercut, they still have that 1 HP, so that's where the animation cancel of melee has to come in, so you're able to secure the kill fast. Usually whenever you do a basic melee or basic attack, you always want to add a melee because they could be being pocketed by 2 healers, so the faster you burst them, the faster they have a chance of dying. There's many times where I'll do one of these combos, and because I accidentally cancel my basic attack when I try and melee, a Hela, a Scarlet Witch, anybody who has a get out of jail free card will be able to just fly out of there, and they'll just fly to their supports or a healing pad for full HP. We have another ability, or another combo, sorry, which would be your basic dash, basic melee. You can see that he was left with 1 HP there. If it's somebody who has higher than 250 HP, like Iron Fist, for example, or I think the Punisher who has more, yeah, like Iron or Punisher has more HP than 250. You can do a melee, but another variation is you can end it with a slash, which is her, like the magic slash. This ability here, you'll be able to end the combo with that. Basic combos with her are like your basic melee, and as you get the rhythm down, you'll get a lot faster because her attack is, if I remember correctly, her basic attack is 0.85 seconds. So as you can see here, it's fairly slow. In a game where seconds and milliseconds matter, this is going to be killing a lot faster. For example, another thing is if you do basic slash basic, that's going to be a lot more damage and a lot more than just standard basic attacks. Her playstyle is she is a brawler, but she is also an assassin. If you do have somebody that's able to aggro the team, dive the team, if you're playing with 2 Vanguards, like if you have like a Groot, Doctor Strange, like if you have any Vanguard really, they're going to be your most valuable asset, because if you're playing the assassin route, because like I said, she has a lot of one-shot combos, you can dive their backline fairly easy when the rest of their team is up ahead here, aggroed onto your tank who's trying to push payload, for example. You're able to pick them off because they'll be distracted. The absolute amount of times I lose my mind because I'm not paying attention and I go to dive their Mantis, for example, I mess up my combo, I get slept, and then their entire team stops fighting my team, pushes me, and then I die almost instantly because you're 1v6'd. Like, you're gonna get killed within 2 seconds. When I say that she's a brawler, is usually, I wouldn't say usually, you never ever want to full dive a friggin' team on capture the point or anything. Like right now, if this was the point right here and it was overtime, I went in with my combo like this, I'd be dead instantly from every single person on their team. Because A, you don't have your team with you. If they're lagging a bit behind you, then different story. But for example, you only have 250 health. You're classified as a squishy. You have same health as 90% of the characters in this game. If you want to actually brawl, you're gonna want to get your overshield as much as possible. Like 400 HP is pretty much a pseudo Vanguard. You're a pseudo tank when you have max. With her Dark Child ultimate, you keep your overshield in it. So when you're going to cast your Dark Child, if you can, try to actually make sure you have your over heal as like have your passive stacked as much as possible to get your most valuable for damage, because you're going to be able to survive a lot longer when you have an extra 150 heal health, and then you're also going to be having healing hopefully from your supports. Yeah, so that's kind of her playstyle. She's a simple character with a very high skill ceiling. Like I said before, I can't do all of this. I'm still trying to get better at her. I'm gold 3 or gold 2 right now, trying to climb up as much as I can with Magik. Her ultimate is a whole different story, because all of her abilities except her passive changes. So with having Dark Child active, oh, by the way, if not many people know, there is a firing range that's down here. You can customize parameters to however you want. Moving stationary targets, pretty much anything you want. I usually just set up a tank and turn timer off, so I'm able to test out combos, abilities, see how much damage I can maximize. So her basic attack is 65 damage before damage fall off. With Dark Child, it turns into 3 hits. Like I said, I'll put up a description of her abilities whenever I mention them for the first time. Each hit deals 35 damage. So 35 times 3 is, sorry, I'm really bad at math. 35 times 3 is 105 damage. So from 65, why is this music so loud? Yeah, so you're gonna be doing 105 damage if you land your entire basic attack. Your damage still has a damage fall off, but your damage fall off now begins at 6 meters with it, and your give me one. Sorry, let me turn this down. There is no need for this room to, for some reason, have the angels from the sky freaking singing in my ear while I'm talking. Damage fall off starts at 6 meters and decreases it by 25% instead of 30% like your regular attack, but your range from your ultimate is increased to 10 meters now, so you're going to be able to hit a lot quicker. Or sorry, not a lot quicker. You're going to be able to hit a lot further. So you can see here that I'm doing very little damage, but if I'm up close, now I'm starting to absolutely chunk the Groot here. One thing that I was saying that changes with her is you have animation cancels. You're not really... You can't melee at all. Like, you can click melee as much as you want, and you can't melee. So, how you do animation canceling with inside of Dark Child is you want to have your ult active, of course. When you see that first initial hit start, you can go into your Eldritch, or your Stepping Disc. Like, as you can see there, even though I'm in Stepping Disc, the actual attacks are still landing. So if I attack the Stepping Disc and then go into Stepping Disc, you're still going to hear the auto attacks going off. And then you do your Eldritch Whirl to continually stack your passive. So pretty much the combo that you're having is you're doing an auto attack, Eldritch Whirl, auto attack, Eldritch Whirl, auto attack, Eldritch Whirl. That's going to maximize your damage. That's going to be how you're going to cancel your auto attack, so you can attack a lot faster, because you go from 0.85 seconds per hit. So this takes 0.85 seconds in between each hit. You're only going up to 1 hit per second, so you're not going much faster. Your range is increased, your damage is increased, but the attack is almost staying the exact same. Like, it's, what, 0.15 milliseconds faster? Yeah, 0.15, 0.15. And then, of course, you have your damage fall off there, which is going to decrease stuff. One thing that people may not realize is her like her dash or umbral incursion, like it says, it dashes forward and launch ups an enemy, you go with it. If you're in Dark Child, you just knock them back. You're doing 115 damage instead of 85 damage, but that's all you're doing. You're knocking them back, so you're not gonna be able to do the one-shot combo or anything with Eldritch Roll, knock up melee, slash. Like, that did a lot of damage there, but you're not gonna be able to do that inside of Dark Child. Her Demon Rage stays the... I wouldn't say it stays the same. It changes, like, very slightly. So you're doing the same attack speed. Your damage per hit is increased by 5. The range is the same. It's still 6 meters, but the width and height is changed slightly. So it's a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So you're going to be able to hit things more consistently. Its HP gets stacked to, it gets an extra 100 health. So like I said, if you're using this to block attacks, you can also use it to block attacks slightly when you're in your ultimate diving them. And it'll be able to absorb more damage. One thing that's interesting with her ultimate is when you're using her abilities, so you only have 12 seconds, if I time this right. So if I go in here and I go to that 1 second, like, when you go to end, all of her abilities cancel out. Like, if you're about to use one last Eldritch Roll at 1 second and you hear that kind of, the sound effect that they play when the actual timer ends and she kind of like lifts up her hand to like turn herself back, you're not gonna be able to actually input any abilities and they'll just kind of go away. One thing that's interesting though is if you're on the last second, try to leave a demon behind, because the demon actually stays for the duration, which is 4 seconds. So see, I'm back into my human child, but the empowered demon is here. Her magic slash gets increased damage, and I'm pretty sure it comes out faster. The charge time is longer, and you can see here, like, how much bigger it is. It can go up to 180 damage. Cooldown is, of course, shortened. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. With her abilities, let me turn off ability cooldown so I could show you this. If you expend all of her abilities, activate Dark Child, you can see here everything's refreshed. Always, always, always use your abilities, use any abilities you can to go back, or before going into Dark Child. You're going to maximize your damage like that. And then by the time you're out of Dark Child, as you can see, my ability cooldowns are back. So then I'm able to get out if I didn't kill anybody or if I'm about to die. You're able to escape. So that is my comprehensive guide. If I missed anything, please, please, please feel free to put it down in the comments. Later on, as I start to learn more about this character, or if I learn anything important, I will definitely add some smaller videos or for little tips, maybe YouTube shorts, or post smaller tips on my TikTok. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. It helps me a lot. Always wanted to be a YouTuber. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I made sense, or at least some sense to you guys. I'm definitely very nervous doing my first video. I hope everything was understandable. If you didn't understand anything, please, again, leave it in the comments. Like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it. But other than that, thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video, and I will see you guys later.